Sonke Gender Justice has been one of the voices to welcome a ruling that could allow parents to share the 4 months of parental leave. The leave that was previously reserved only for mothers now has been overturned. And the ruling also says that parents who adopt or have children via surrogacy should be entitled to the same leave. Now, talking to us from Cape Town is Namuma Mulindi, Sonke Gender Justice's Policy Development and Advocacy Specialist. And Namuma, a pleasure having you this morning on Newslink. Thank you so much for your time. How significant is this court ruling?
It's huge. First of all, it enables us to start having conversations about changing gender stereotypes. And it allows us to start having that conversation. How do we get fathers more involved in the most important, crucial time when the child is born? There's the misconception that it's only mothers who are the nurturers of children. And there's a lot of research that has gone into developing and realizing that fathers play a huge role, and it's important to have them present for the child at that time.
And obviously, you know, the 4 months previously was only reserved for mothers. And now, as you've mentioned, we can see that crucial role of fathers being played during this 4 months. Namuma, take me through the hardships or the difficulties that fathers as well themselves encountered during that 4 months, especially wanting to be a part of, you know, that very sensitive early stages of their babies' lives, but not being able to because the ruling only permitted mothers to.
So, in fact, just taking a look at this specific case, the Van Veek's case, they were in a situation where the lady, the mother of the child, ran a business, and it would have been convenient for her to go back to the business and for the father to be present, and he was willing and ready to be present. But because the law only provided for maternity leave, he didn't get that opportunity. And we have a lot of instances, you know, hopefully now with the decision in this case, consideration will also be given where, for instance, a child dies at birth or, you know, during the last months and they're not able to get that. I mean, the mother would get maternity leave consideration. But what happens to the father who's also lost the child, who died maybe at 7 months or in utero or the child was stillborn? So there's certain conversations where even the father's side of things had not actually been considered in terms of what they would go through where they lose a child. So hopefully this can also have that discussion to say, okay, fathers are relevant and they also have an experience in such situations.
If we stretch it, you know, a bit further, Namuma, and also talk about gender-based violence and femicide, it seems that there may also be a possible link there when both parents aren't a part of a child's life. It seems data is showing you that that may also be links to, you know, a child growing up to be an adult and then being a perpetrator of GBV.
Yes, so there's actually links between unpaid care work and gender-based violence. And the research is wide in as far as it shows that responsibility that is placed on the woman, how it ends up having a cyclical effect in the family setting, the expectations that are sometimes placed on her because there's no understanding of, you know, the responsibility, her healing time, the lack of sleep that she's going through, how that also affects the family. And in the end, what ends up happening is the anger, the pressure within the home leads to GBV, a lot of intimate partner violence. So there are certainly linkages between unpaid care work and a culture of domestic violence, intimate partner violence, and GBV.
That's very insightful, I have to say. Also, when we talk about parents in this regard, I think we're having a conversation from a point of biological parents, but there are other parents, right? You have your adoptive parents, you have parents who come together, have a baby via surrogacy, and it seems also their rights were infringed upon. They were previously deprived of the very same benefits and rights that biological parents had over their child. What's the significance of this ruling over these two types of parents as well?
I guess it also comes down to understanding our cultural way of looking at things, where it's the mother who's actually carried the child and given birth to the child who's considered a full-on mother. What about that lady who's adopted a child and taken on this child as their own? So this is actually landmark to actually say, no, we see you as parents. You are just parents as much as the ones who have had the biological child. It's actually saying, you know, because it's they were only getting 10 weeks prior to that. And especially when you look at situations of surrogacy, people haven't been really open to that conversation. And sometimes it's still viewed with a certain eye that, okay, you didn't really carry the child. So this is creating room for us to start changing the narrative in our society.
Yeah, what I'm hearing from you, Namuma, is you're saying that if, maternal or at least maternal leave was only considered because the mother has to heal the body before coming back to work and breastfeed the baby and obviously, bond with the baby. There are other factors. What I'm hearing you say is that there are also other factors that need to be considered here in as far as, mother and baby or mother and father and baby are concerned, whether they were, conceived via surrogacy, whether the baby was adopted or even given birth to by their biological mother, right?
Certainly. The presumption is that previously it's the birth mother who needs that bonding time, but you forget to take into account that even the adoptive mother still needs the time to spend skin-to-skin connection with the child. The father of that adoptive child also needs that time, skin-to-skin connection in the time that they are also now bonding. So giving them the same amount of time is a recognition of who they are as parents.
Well, I appreciate you speaking to us about this, Namuma. Thank you so much for adding your voice to not only this conversation, but definitely to this ruling, joining many others, welcoming this court ruling that new parents could share the 4 months of leave that was previously only reserved for the biological birth mother. This not only including fathers, but also, parents who have their baby via surrogacy as well as adoptive parents. All my thanks to Namuma Mulindi, the Sonke Sonke's Policy Development and Advocacy. She's, of course, from Sonke Gender Justice. I don't know why my tongue got twisted there, but from Sonke Gender Justice. Thank you so much, Namuma.